Well, hi again. Welcome to Dory's Gardens, where inspiration awaits beyond the lavender gate. We did this video yesterday and it was so bad. I don't know what happened. So this is a rerun, or repeat, or even better. So I'm going to talk about how to make a very festive fall planter that you can put by your front door or wherever on your patio, but it just will say fall, and it is coming. I know it's coming. So I'll start with these mums because they say fall like nobody's business. And when I buy them, I like to buy them with a lot of buds. This is probably the one that's blooming the most because you'll get a lot of life on it. And so we're going to start with this in our planter. And Michelle, you've been learning how to do container plantings.
Yes.
What was it that your husband said the other day?
He told me that my containers were looking beautiful, so I told him I've been learning from Dory.
Aha, but she's got a lot of artistic. So, and then she just made them her own. But I'm glad that, you learned a little bit.
Yes.
So I'm going to start too also with the Smart Pot, which we know is wonderful for all sorts of applications. And this container, I've been kind of hoarding this, hiding this for a long time. Maybe I'll sell it, maybe not, but it's so lovely. But I'm going to just use that as an example of how when you change out the flowers, you can make a whole nother look. And if you work with these Smart Pots, a really neat thing to do is to have a couple of them and use them for seasonal plantings. Like I'm going to start, I think, a Container of the Month Club where we will have all the ingredients to make a festive container for that month that just speaks to October, November, whatever. And you can have it planted for the previous month and just take it out and pop in another one and transfer it into your garden, or just have a bunch of these, whatever you want to do. But that's nice because then you always have something fresh to look at. So I'm not going to actually plant this in here, but you can see how you can roll it down to fit your container. And remember what the recipe is for a beautiful container? Okay, it's your turn. It's test time. There's a what? There's a
Thriller, filler, and spiller.
Yes. Now this could be a thriller. It's pretty thrilling, but I'm going to use it as a filler. So we've got that in there, and then these crotons, two different kinds. They just have their own personality. Look at these with the stripes, and ones that most people are familiar with. And then these here in Hawaii, these ones, well, they use them for hedges. And so it's really fun to see them over here. So I'm going to pop them behind here and just give a nice backdrop. And be careful of your mums, because as you can see, those mum arms that were on that croton, they just break off easily. So when you do buy them here in Dory's Gardens, I'll wrap them in a plastic thing so you can get them home without them breaking. But here we go. So now we're getting it started, and I think we need a little bit more pizzazz in the back, and nothing says like harvest time like grasses. And so I'm going to pop this in here, and it'll kind of grow up around there, and you can plant the plants at different depths to get them where you want so you can see them. And then also think about, are you going to just be seeing your planter from the front, from three sides, or all the way around? Because you want to plant accordingly. You don't want to just stick something in the back without color and then walk around and then there's nothing fun to look at. So think about that. So this is lovely, and then we can add this for a spiller. And this is something that you will have all year round. In fact, these are going in my front urns in the front of my house because they're so wonderful. So there's one look, and then also something to make it look harvesty, a little pumpkin by your planter. You just make a little arrangement. So now I'm going to pull this out. We're going to try something totally different. So people plant fall gardens, and there's a real beauty in vegetables. Now these are more ornamental, but actually this is a mustard that you can put in your salad. And then there's the Swiss chard, which has lovely veins in it and these beautiful stems. And so that's something nice to put in there. If you have some coleus left over, you can pop some of that in. But what I'm going to do is, and then this is a decorative pepper. So even though these are kind of vegetable plants, most of these are decorative, but you can still kind of pretend that it's a garden you can eat. Or get the real things. So you put that in like that. And then here's the decorative kale. The cabbages are really round like a cabbage. But this kale, as it matures, it gets hot pink veins in it. Lovely. And then the white one here, what happens with that, it turns white like a snowflake around December, which is when you want something that looks like that. So So these will work really good for a December planting, and they'll go through the winter until it gets warm. So you can put things like that in, pop them in. Now for this situation where I've got so many big things going on there, I have smaller ones somewhere. Do you see them, Michelle?
You talking about the
Little
snapdragons?
cabbage ones in a little cup. Well, anyways, I do have little 4-inch ones that you can pop in, but you can put in snapdragons because they're going to go through the winter. So that gives a little bit of color amongst the subtle colors of the garden. And this is another decorative pepper just starting to come out. They're going to turn yellow to orange to red. Oh, wonderful. And this Blackfoot daisy, this is still blooming nice until the fall. That can also be a spiller. So you've got the contrast of the white with the dark, the burgundies, and oh, here's my little guy. Isn't he cute? So you can pop them in. It just looks like a flower on its own. So now we're just getting a little bit of thing going on. It's not quite bright enough for me. So I have this grass. This is wonderful. It's really more of a sedge, and this will stay like this all winter. And so if you pop some of that green lime in there, what do you think?
Beautiful.
We've got there now. So a whole nother look. Still with winter flowers that are going to go on into the season. Gerbers are fabulous right now, and sometimes simplicity is nice. It's really hard for me because I always want to mix and match. But this pot is lovely in itself. And if you planted this Gerber, maybe a few little things in there, that is really pretty, really harvesty looking. Or just this orange pot here. You know, that says harvest time. Put it next to a pumpkin. And if you just popped in a mum or just a croton, and see how the simplicity of that just really makes a great statement. So there's lots of fun things you can do. Planters, this autumn sedum, this is kind of an indestructible plant, and it's blooming this time of year. That's if you want more of that succulent look. And I just put it in with this ivy, which I don't know if I would use that or not, but I needed something else in here. Probably I would use some more sedums, but this container here, again with the smart pot, will hold the dirt in, and that's just kind of old-fashioned, fun looking. And there's a new smart pot that I just got in with the brown. So if you have something where you really want to make the wrought iron pop out, and sometimes the dark is just not enough of a contrast, you can use this tan color. And look at how different that makes it look. So you really see the design there. So those are a few ideas. And we've got also, again, the subtle succulents, which are lovely. The colors are going to start coming out as the fall temperatures drop. They'll get more of this pink color going on. And tin just seems kind of farmish, kind of harvesty. So look around and see if you've got some containers. I've had these for a while that just really work well. I've got several of those. This rustic look here, kind of farmhouse look, you know, just really works with the harvest things. I've just refound this planter again too. It's just a thrift store find, but putting in just the little oxalis, simple, nice. So you can add a few things together to make an arrangement, a little grouping. And I just wanted to talk about the crown of thorns here too. I just got a bunch of these in because these are so wonderful. And these will bloom into the winter. I bring these inside when it starts getting cold. And sometimes I'll mix them with a Christmas cactus because they bloom about the same time. And I will sell these instead of like the poinsettias if people just want some color during the holiday season. And you can keep these for a long time if you don't overwater them. A friend of mine has given me starts from a 40-year-old plant. And so it's really wonderful. It's kind of like the Christmas cactus that your grandmother had, that your grandmother had, that your grandmother had. So it's an heirloom type plant that you can, really easy to keep going. So those are a few ideas. Pansies are not really out yet. Too hot still. Even though the temperatures are going to be dropping down into the 80s, you want it to be consistently at least 60 degrees at night for the pansies, or they'll get all leggy and they just won't be pretty and you'd have to replant them. But when they come in, oh, just a myriad of colors that you can add for your harvest plantings and on into the winter. So we'll do another one next month and just see what kind of plants are out and how we can change it up. And so I hope that gave you some great ideas. So until next time, happy gardening.